So this week's video is going to be week 26 of my pregnancy. This is actually the exact same time that I started doing these with my son. So it's exciting for me to be able to, in the future, look back at the two and kind of compare what was similar and what was different. Welcome back, my loves, or welcome back to another video. I'm so excited to be back and at it again. So this week's video is going to be week 26 of my pregnancy. This is actually the exact same time that I started doing these with my son. So it's exciting for me to be able to, in the future, look back at the two and kind of compare what was similar and what was different. I am having a girl with this one, so that is one thing that is different. I have a son, he is 2.5, or will be 2.5 when she's born. So with me being 26 weeks and 2 days to be exact, my weeks end on Wednesdays. So in about 5 days from now, I will be 27 weeks. Right now, she is about 13 to 15 inches and weighs 1 pound and 11 ounces. I only know the exact weight just because I just had an appointment and they kind of gave me the overall of how much she's weighing at the moment. Another form of measurement of how far along I am is also, you could think of it as 3 months. I mean, not 3 months, sorry. I'm in my 3rd trimester and I'm 7 months. If that gives you another view or idea of how far exactly I am. So, I am currently weighing at 148. I started this pregnancy at 149, lost a bit of weight in the beginning, in the middle, and it's all kind of come back now. I'm almost to the point of where I started, so that's good to me. Baby is about the size of a thing of kale or a papaya or like a spaghetti squash. It's kind of multiple different ideas of how big she is, depending on what app you're using or looking at. I use Pregnancy Plus, The Bump, and What to Expect. I use more than one just because they're not all exactly the same, but if you kind of compare and contrast each of them with each other, you'll get an idea of what is exactly going on, because one will kind of tell you one size and the other will tell you a different size. So I kind of just use all of them and, you know, use my own input and put the pieces together to figure out exactly what's all happening in this point of pregnancy. Some symptoms that I've been having with her at this point in pregnancy is I did start to experience pelvic pain and lower back pain and just back pain in general. The pain part of pregnancy, the uncomfortable part, is definitely not at its peak, but it's definitely starting to kind of rise up slowly. A little bit hard to get comfortable at night, toss and turn. When I do toss and turn, it is kind of painful. Nothing I can't tolerate, but it is a little bit painful. It's uncomfortable. I'm also experiencing a lot of movement. She moves a lot. She's super active, hyper, always kicking. She gets the hiccups a lot too. You kind of know the difference if you've had a child before and this is not your first pregnancy. However, if it is your first pregnancy, you can kind of tell the difference between her moving or him moving and hiccups. because hiccups are more like a rhythmic motion, so it's kind of repetitive and the same feeling, whereas her just moving herself is kind of random and can either feel light or it can feel sharp or strong, you know. So it kind of just depends. You usually can tell after a few times of feeling both. I'm also more tired. I'm starting to feel more drained than I would like to. And a little bit of that, you know, nesting is starting to go on. Wanting to clean weird things and organize weird things. Obsessing over, you know, making sure I'm getting the registries made, baby shower planning, and just, excuse me, all of that. I do get these weird random like hiccup things out of nowhere. I did realize that I think I had that with my son as well. I don't know if it's like a symptom of pregnancy or if it's just something with me, but I wanted to share that in case anybody else is experiencing it. I do get a little bit lightheaded pretty often. I have not fainted, but I do get lightheaded quite often. So I try to stay hydrated and drink a lot of water. I have to take a lot of extra supplements and vitamins on top of my prenatal because of that. One being iron, and then things like vitamin D and stuff like that for my bones, for my condition. I do have a little bit of nausea and vomiting coming back. The nausea is more frequent than the vomiting. The vomiting kind of, I feel like, is provoked by specific foods or smells. Specifically, one that I can definitely point out is ground beef. For some reason, cooked ground beef or beef, you know, it just doesn't sit very well in my stomach for her. So that's one that usually I'll end up throwing up. Otherwise, it's just kind of slight nausea. Usually in the morning, when I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I'll kind of have like super bad hunger pain / nausea from my food digesting over the course of being asleep. And then the last thing I feel like I've kind of, or last two things, sorry, that I've experienced with her at this point is some light cramping. I did have a C-section with my son. So I feel like some of the cramping may be because of that. But it is also normal to cramp towards the end just because you're running out of room in there and she's getting cramped up in there. So, excuse me, that is another thing. And then I did notice that I kind of been a little bit more emotional lately, kind of like I was in the beginning. It's not as bad as it was in the beginning, but it's definitely noticeable. I am more prone to crying or reacting to things than I was a few weeks ago. It's possibly have a lot to do with my personal life, you know, outside of growing a child, just everything else in life that's going on right now that I'm trying to figure out. It definitely probably has a part to do with that, but I think it does have to do with the pregnancy and the hormones and everything as well. So I did want to share that. So now on to some problems or like potential issues or complications that I've been experiencing or having. Is I am high risk. Again, I was high risk with my son as well due to having osteogenesis imperfecta. If you don't know what that is, basically it is a bone condition that causes you to have very fragile bones and break very easily and frequently. And it is a genetic disorder, so it passes through genes. Because of this, I have to see a high-risk doctor on top of my regular OB. I have monthly ultrasounds just to track growth and make sure that everything's okay. And recently I was informed that my daughter is apparently measuring a little bit below where she should be for weight. Like I said earlier, she's weighing 1 pound and 11 ounces right now. And all of the apps that I've been looking at said that she should be weighing between 1.5 pounds to 2.2 pounds, or 2 pounds and 2 ounces. And she's like in the middle of that. So I'm a little bit confused why or how she's underweight, but basically they just said she's kind of skinny or small for how far along I am, like weight wise, not growth or bones or anything. So she's growing and forming correctly. Her brain is working very, very well, he said, but there is just a little bit of concern about her weight, and that there's possibly an issue with my placenta delivering nutrients to her as much as it should be. So now I'm at a point where I have to go and see my high-risk doctor every week, twice a week, to have her brain and just her growth and everything be monitored, just to make sure that she's okay. I was also informed that I have to have an extra bag packed like you normally would, you know, towards the end of pregnancy, just in case you go into labor, but I definitely have to have one packed now. He said I should pack one now versus waiting a couple weeks like most people usually do. So that's definitely on my to-do list. But other than that, that is the only complication that I've had with this one. I did not have this issue with my son. Instead with him, I had been told that some of his bones were a little bit shorter stature than most babies, one of them being his femurs, which ended up being a symptom of him having the disorder that I have, the OI. He does have it. So it wasn't anything to be concerned of. It was just kind of an early sign that he probably was going to have it. So with her, the only really complication as of now is that she's a little bit underweight, and that it possibly could cause me to go into labor early, like have a premature labor. But I'm just trying to be positive and hope that the situation is not anything drastic or crazy, and it's just, you know, a little bit of a you know, eye opener, just something to kind of make me think a little bit more, focus more on my eating and all that, and hopefully it doesn't cause any actual issues. As far as my labor plan with this baby, I am planning to do a VBAC, which is a vaginal birth after a C-section. I know that word sounds kind of scary, and when I first seen it and they told me that that was what I wanted, I was like, no, that's not what I want. That sounds scary, but it's really just a shortened version of a vaginal birth after a C-section. Another way of wording it, or another term that they use, is a TOLAC, which is a trial of labor after a C-section. They're both the same thing. It's just what they call the process of a woman trying to deliver vaginally after she's already had a C-section. My C-section with my son was planned. It was not an emergency, so that is why I'm allowed to try to do a VBAC. And with this VBAC, I am doing no meds, no epidural, or that is my goal. I do have to meet with an anesthesiologist at 28 weeks, so in about 2 weeks, to kind of go over my options as far as pain, if I have any. Like I said, I do have OI, and it is a bone condition, which means that they are not allowed to do anything that invasive on my spine. meaning I can't have a regular C-section with a spinal tap. I have to get put to sleep. And I believe an epidural goes in your back as well. So that's really what the appointment is for, to find out if they're comfortable trying that or if it's something that's an option. Otherwise, it would pretty much be no pain med, VBAC, or a C-section that I would be put to sleep. That is how I had my son, and that will be a different video. It's very touchy for me to talk about my delivery with my son, so I don't want to get too into it, but it was not what I wanted at the end of the day, and I would love to experience actual labor. So that is my plan as of right now. Some cravings that I've had with her are mainly sweet foods. Potatoes are a big one, and water. I love water with her. And then some aversions that I've had, one of them being the ground beef, like I said, and another one is soda. I know you're not really supposed to drink soda anyways, and I'm not much of a soda drinker, but with this pregnancy, it actually had a weird effect that made me not like it. I noticed that if I've ever tried to drink soda with this pregnancy, my stomach feels like it's getting blown up like a balloon. Like, it makes me feel extremely bloated and gassy and just uncomfortable. So I don't like drinking soda. And then lastly, just to kind of end out the video, a little bit going over how I'm feeling right now, like emotional wise, or, you know, personally. I am kind of sad, just about doing this all by myself, going through this process by myself. It's a lot different than it was with my son. It's a little bit overwhelming, but I am also very happy and excited that I'm going to be having a baby girl, that she's going to be here in a few months, a few weeks to a few months. Like, I have no idea at this point. With everything that's going on, she could come whenever. And I just feel really tired a lot and impatient. I just want her to come. I want everything to just be done and over with, and to see my little girl, and that's it. But I'm really excited to try to experience a regular birth and all of it. My favorite part of this pregnancy, I think I would have to say, is how much she moves. She moves so much that it's almost like I can't even begin to really worry about if she's okay or if anything's wrong, because as soon as I get to like have a weird little feeling like something, oh, she hasn't moved in a while or anything, she'll just go crazy. And she's super active and hyper, and I think that's just the best part. Is I really miss the feeling of feeling my son move in my belly, and it was a nice feeling with him, but with her it's just a little bit different. I think it's because I already know what the feeling felt like, so I can feel everything. Every little movement is like to me, versus with my son, I couldn't always tell if it was him or not. You know, I always second guessed, like, oh, maybe it's just a gas bubble, maybe it's just I'm bloated, you know, maybe my stomach is just making funny noises or feeling funny. With her, I know. The moment she does something, I know it's her. So that's probably the best part to me. So to end this video, I'm going to do a little bit of a bump update, and then I'm going to show some of the pictures from her ultrasound. So, oops, for the bump update, ooh, the waddle is real now too, by the way. So for the bump update, my pants don't buckle anymore, so don't judge. This is the bump date. This is where I'm at 26 weeks. She's pretty big already compared to my son. I feel like my belly was not this big with him at this point, but that's the belly. And then the photos from the appointment I had for her are right here. She is so cute. If I'm being honest, these pictures are actually what made me the most excited for her to come. They kind of just made it really real to me. She's really starting to look like, you know, a cute little baby now instead of a big old blob of cells that looks not quite like a human. Sorry for my vocabulary choice of words and way of putting that, but you know, they're not cute at first. This is one of them. That's her little mouth. And then here's another one. She is so adorable. In my opinion, this is my favorite. This is the one that makes me just super excited. Actually, I'm gonna show that one last just to end the video with it, you know? This is another one. Her little chubby self. And like, she looks healthy to me. I don't know. I'm not used to, you know, how they should look, I guess. So I don't really know. Here's like a side profile of her. And then my favorite one last. Her little lips are so cute. Isn't she just the cutest little thing ever? I swear. Her little lips. So yeah, those are the pictures from the last appointment. I'm gonna do these weekly. With my son, I did them bi-weekly because there wasn't a lot that changed with him. But like I said, with everything that's going on with her and having to go every week and go twice a week at that, already this early on, I'm probably just gonna do them weekly because there's a lot that can change in a week with this pregnancy. So that's it for this video. I'm thinking that my next video is gonna be you know, the little bag that I pack, like what's in my hospital bag, or something with my son, like a vlog or something, on top of the pregnancy update. So I'm gonna do the pregnancy updates weekly, and then I'm gonna try to do like a different type of video other than a pregnancy update, if I have time or if I can figure out something else to do. But I hope everybody enjoyed this video. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here on my journey and just watching this little one grow with me. It's really exciting, and I'm happy to have everybody here watching and supporting that is there. If you have any ideas of things, oh, sorry, camera cut out. If you have any ideas of anything as far as videos or in content ideas, please let me know in the comments. It definitely would help me with creating content, you know, having some ideas put out there that other people want to see. It would definitely push and motivate me to make more, versus when I just have to think of everything and come up with everything and brainstorm all these ideas and decide on one. It's, you know, I'm kind of a little bit indecisive, so a little bit of help would be appreciated. But that is it for you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening whenever you see this, and I will see you again next week. Bye, my loves.